6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First item will be roll call.
All right, Mr.
Here.
Mr. Buckley? Here. Mr. Brooks?
Present.
Mr. Ricky?
Here.
Mr. Ryan?
Here.
And Mr. Mayor?
Here. Next item will be a motion to approve the agenda.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Is it still necessary that we have item 8 on the agenda? Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anybody really recess, so might expedite it if we didn't have a recess, but that's up to the pleasure of the board.
It's fine for me to strike that. The rest of the agenda is fairly short, so we will strike the recess from the agenda for this meeting.
And we're so moved with acceptance of the agenda.
Do we have a second with that change? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
No.
Confirm the previous meeting's minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look over them and if there's any additions or corrections?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
On the meeting for 6/12 at 2 p.m., I was here. It's in the back of the package.
Closed section. Oh, you're talking about the, yes,
2 o'clock.
yes. Okay.
I was here. I look like you.
Were there any other changes?
Not that I can see.
With that addition, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Is there any public comment? None submitted. Officers report, CFO report, Mr. Fritz, are you gonna?
I'm just available to answer any questions. The couple things I'd like to point out is what's highlighted in the budget performance analysis through April. And the green is you know, something of a positive note in the sense that we're 1/3 of the way through the year, that the revenue is exceeding budget expectations. The one derogatory line we see is highlighted that Jamie believed that the board might want to be informed about where the medical supplies and where we're at with those. And it does appear that the money that the district has expended thus far will exceed the money that we've received graciously from the CARES Act. So we'll modify that. That'll be moved over, and the money will be moved over into the general fund, and we'll have a full accounting, as Jamie will provide that to you under the COVID-19. So any questions on the budget performance or any items in there?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, this is for January through April,
Correct.
and this is June.
Correct.
Do we not have May?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Liberty does not have May yet complete. Very good point.
Yes.
What are special events? On the first page there.
Okay.
What, is there certain things that happen every year that are called special events? It's at the top, operating revenue, the fourth Monday. $900 for January through April and $61.50 for the annual budget. Any idea?
And that the fees.
Special event.
Okay. If there's a special event going on anywhere within the Pettis County Ambulance District, and the event requires
Oh, like the
an ambulance to be on standby,
Okay.
then they normally charge a small fee for that.
Got it.
So it's, it's a standby service that we provide to the
Okay, and then another one, board of directors expense, $11,700 annually. What kind of expenses do we have? I know we do some training.
Most of those expenses, I believe, Mr. Chairman, I'm not correct, it would be the expenses over at the county clerk's office with regard to our ballots,
Oh,
election co-ops.
okay.
There are some other things that we've used and tried to keep, of course, the purchase of items like these, and I know that we keep postage set aside as far as what some of the board expenses are. So, this particular, page you're looking at is broken down further. You look back, this
Yeah.
is just the.
Right, right, I just noticed
Yeah,
that.
gotcha.
And one other question, if I
Yeah.
may. The umbrella policy, how much is that for? Do you know what the amount is? Is it $1 million, $5 million? I imagine it's a pretty good number since the type of work that's being done.
I believe in the aggregate of 5 million. Jenny could.
Yeah, okay, I can send her an email and ask her that. I was just curious. I used to do some insurance and I was just want to make sure.
She can share more about
I
that.
imagine that's enough. Okay, thank you.
If you're on page 10, under operating expense, ambulance operations, we were pretty all over, we're $37,000 over where we were last year at this time, or not necessarily this time, but the end of April. So I was wondering if there might be some upfront expenses that are done with the first part of the year as opposed to regular monthly payments. I guess I don't know everything that goes into that line item. Well, let's take a look at the. Okay. It's also broke out on page 11. It's not broke out, but it's written there again. We just broke out according to Pettis County was 135 grand and Windsor Base at 10 grand, for a total of 145 plus. Maybe, I'm assuming that probably the June, or the May figures will be out soon and those things.
They will. Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
that item, your ambulance operations are broken down into, I believe, 5, 6, 7, 8 categories on page 5 of the budget performance. And they've been that way, and I did spell out a little bit ago about the expenses being up with regard to medical supplies. And so that is what is that related to. The vehicle maintenance, I don't know where we're at of queue there. Roy, did you know that?
Is that because we spent $10,000, so we put it in one ambulance?
I don't think he's got his, that very well could be.
Put the new motor in, put the rear end.
On the bright side, the concern that we did have with regard to revenues and where we're at, I don't think our sales tax, we're gonna see a big decline in it or, our billables really until next month. Because the figures we see here, obviously, we're a month behind what we normally see. We normally would be seeing May, but, And then you have to even back them up 2 months as far as what we get reported to us. So, you know, in that right side, you know, operating revenue did, you know, did exceed nicely our side of the Pettis County side. Windsor base came awful close. So, that was exciting. I don't know where we're going to be next month, but it'd be a good time to segue into looking at sales tax on page 12. When we look across at June, we're actually looking at April's check. Okay. And you kind of see how that compares. So in June, we received a check for April sales tax for $292,510. That brings us to the second graph on that down below, year-to-date 1.461 revenue on our sales tax. And that is about $50,000 short of last year. So overall sales tax with 6 months reporting, we're 3.5, just shy of 3.5% down. So I think with the expectations of knowing when the community was closed down, you know, we're looking at April's numbers. Is it going to get worse? We don't know. We'll find out. The one thing that I did notice when we looked at this thing, and anytime everyone's looked at sales tax data, we have it. It's kind of funny that, you know, a lot of our money rolls in from the license bureau, which has been closed. And we estimated that we lost out about, with them being closed, with the numbers, about $30,000. And if you'll notice, we're about $40,000 off our variance from the prior year. So that could account for it. If they're not open, you don't collect sales tax. But I always think this is an interesting page. It equals half of our revenue.
But don't we have some stimulus money in that?
Yes, on the next, right, yeah, on the next page.
80,000.
Right, on the next page, we have that. On page 13, we see our bank balances. And the fourth account down, we still have that 82,477.24 in that account. And as I indicated earlier, Jamie and I talked about moving this money over into general revenue, just for the fact is our expenses have totaled in excess of this, and we have that data to provide in the event these folks want to know. And it's well documented. And then I imagine we'll probably do that next week. The cash reserve chart, it merely is a recognition of kind of what we have on the page 14 in a graph form. You can kind of see the days of cash reserve has gone up a little bit. And that was probably due to the stimulus. At 82,000 probably kicked it up. But the months of cash reserve, 4 3/4, still shy of what is recognized by most ambulance districts and recommended to have on hand, but it's getting better. So. Any questions about the check register, any entries? I should be able to decipher them, I think, maybe. For the new board members, this item kind of interesting. The debit item includes all the deposits that were made, and of course the credit is the what went out. So, and that's through the checking account. So the various accounts. Okay, any questions? And then pay bills, and then I have the folder of bills paid by my solicitor on there. The new billing begins the 1st. We'll actually go live with them. I've got an opportunity to look at the system, and it's really, I think it's going to be really neat for us as a board to be able to see some of the things that they'll be able to track for us in financial form. And the last thing is the audit has been recognized, received by the, or the, our report has been received by the state. It's just awaiting our sending out our audit. Once it gets over there, I think probably at our next meeting, we'll have that report. And then maybe we'll have a presentation at our next meeting. For those that didn't see the draft report, again, our audit came in with 0 corrections. Perfect audit, so.
Yeah, that's twice. She's done that. That's just,
That's pretty impressive.
very impressive.
That's all I had, Mr. Chairman. What that was worth for the board.
Are there any questions on the bill?
Mr. Chairman, on
Yeah.
page 18, I guess I just want to confirm there was one of the first things on there about the regional health center. That seems to be an old dated item for these $47. But it says under the description there, ambulance accident, that was from last year, I assume. Okay, so we haven't had any recent accidents.
So we're at 19.
That's what I was saying. Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the bills? If not, I'd take a motion to approve payment of outstanding bills.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Does Roy have a chief's report for us?
I really wasn't left with any type of report to give you all. What I'll tell you is that operation is good. You guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Operation's going well. Our call volume is looks to be picking back up. I don't have a good solid number for you guys right now, but I'm sure Eric will have one for you guys at the next meeting. No big maintenance issues have occurred since the last meeting. Facilities are all doing well. Other than that, I don't have anything else for you guys. Do you have any questions for me?
Are there any questions for Roy? Thanks, Roy. Medical director's report.
Yeah, in the last month and a half, we have had a relatively high number of cardiac arrest cases. And there's been many occasions where the fire department has worked with us to help, resuscitate these patients. And I'm happy to say that the PCAD employees have been extremely complimentary of the fire department and how they're interacting with us and the assistance they're giving us. So things are going extremely well between the two departments, and unfortunately, they've had a lot of occasions to work together. But I'm really happy that it's working out the way that it is. Other than that, there doesn't appear to be any major problems with medication shortages at the present time. And I really don't have anything else to report to you. Any questions for me? All right.
Here to be in, thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Committee reports, and since Mr. Dirk is not here, he will have the strategic planning committee report. Move on to unfinished business, the bylaw update discussion. At the last meeting, it was pointed out, since we've approved to follow the proper rules of order, some of the things in our meeting section in our bylaws doesn't follow Robert's Rules of Order. And one in particular would be 514. That would be in the minutes. By the bylaws, the second needs to be noted in the minutes by Robert's Rules of Order, just the motion, to make a motion.
Was that the, excuse me?
Yes.
Was that the only change that affected? I mean, I don't know that much about Robert's Rules, but was that the only thing within our bylaws that we have in the process?
Mr. Chairman, yes, that is, the answer to that is yes. I inquired that this is this the only place that we found the bylaws with regard to this type of requirement of second on a voting, and I indicated yes, that they did look to the bylaws for such.
Probably our bylaws should reflect that we're following Robert's Rules of Order. So the change in question would be section 514 and item 3. And it says seconding.
I make a motion, Mr. Chairman, with regard to 5.13, paragraph 3,
It's 5.14.
5.14, sorry, paragraph 3, that we strike the words "and second" with regard to the second line there. Members making, strike the words and strike the word second. It's making, members making the motions.
Do we have a second for that?
I would second it.
Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Do we believe somewhere in those bylaws it should be inserted that we conduct our meetings in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order?
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to strike, I'd like to pull back my motion. With reference, Mr. Chairman, to a section of the bylaws. These bylaws, with regard to what our attorney tells us, are only suggested. They're only suggestions. We're bound by chapter 190. But the bylaws do stipulate, Mr. Chairman, that any changes in the bylaws that all members do have 30 days to digest that change. So I want to strike my motion. I think that'd be appropriate, that we give it 30 days. And that is stipulated in the bylaws. I'll show that to you in just a moment. It'd be under section 6.3. stipulates these bylaws may be amended, repealed, or altered by new bylaws recommended, and each board member must have a minimum of 30 days written notice. I'd like to effectively give a written notice at this time, if I could, Mr. Chairman, start that clock for 30 days. So I'd like to withdraw my motion and put on the record in writing of a suggested change in the matter of my motion. Everybody follow me? Everybody with the bylaw 6.3? Section 6.3 on page, starting on the bottom of page 12, going over the top of 13. I did allow that to escape me, so.
Are you willing to withdraw your second? We will postpone that vote till the 28th, meeting, 28th of July. There's no new business. Are there any announcements?
If I may, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, today I had the opportunity to be over at my 2 o'clock meeting with our CFO today, and a member of the Boys and Girls Club came in and presented our EMS folks family with this, signed by probably 150, 200 children, along with these little bags. And this little card that's on all these bags says indicating to those folks, I'm an essential worker, so basically I'm kind of a big deal. And it says crunch, and there's a candy bar in here, it says crunch, your job is so hard. And there's a Butterfinger in here, it says to keep you from dropping anything. And Baby Ruth, because you're a home run, gum, to help you stick together. It said got extra candy, just a little boost to help you through your shift. And I thought that'd be very important and worthy of our time to understand that this type of thing happens to our community. It's a big deal. They took their time to do this for our men and women over there. So that's all I have.
Are there any other announcements? If not, I'd take a motion to go to closed session.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, and we'll be roll call. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Yes, we have one.
Mr. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Ricky? Yes. Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
And Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Right, and if I may, gentlemen, that is just the reason I voted no on the recess. Primarily it was because of my smoking, but now when we are not in a corona or COVID type situation, where this room is commonly filled with 20 folks, and that little recess to get them out is commonly necessary. So.
Well, with this short agenda.
See you, Dr. Gus.
Take care, Doc.